the real point of why I'm making the video today is what I learned. That lack of communication, the lack of clarity, has caused a lot of division. It's caused a lot of people to want to, jump ship, because either they're hearing things that aren't true, or it's been misspoken, type of thing. So many things I think have been misspoken or misunderstood. I created that history snapshot so you guys can get a grasp on how the group started, what people were involved already as founding members. That was confusion to a lot of people. I asked several people early on, and I'm going through this again because it's relevant. And what I've been hearing from people, I know that it's relevant. I asked certain people to help out in the beginning to be basically squad leaders. So, and then all of a sudden now you have, 2 or 3 people also helping in, administrative type tasks, and even maybe giving out directives. Maybe they took it upon themselves to give directives when it wasn't even really established that they should be doing that. So there was lots of confusion early on about, well, who is in charge of what and who does this or does that. Creating that structure has been really hard. Creating roles has been really hard. That's part of my job. But you can go to any business, any company, any organization, any group, and you'll find out the same struggles are there. Really hard to define things and find out who should be doing what, or either what role should be in place for people to get involved with. So the whole point in this newer structure has been to use the old structure we have, but also marry it to an operation or a way of doing things. And what I found out by looking around and listening to what was happening in different city groups, there happened to be one that was covering all that we need to be covering, which was in Mount Pleasant. This is why that model was merged with our existing one, because the people in that group were getting what they needed in different divisions. So although another group may be really good at doing this or really good at doing that, that one group in Mount Pleasant was providing a well-rounded experience for people who was in our group. Which brings me to a good point. What is it that we're trying to do or produce as watchmen? Started out physical threat. So the main thing was to train people to be able to protect themselves, or even go out as a group and protect within their community. And having that discussion last night with these guys, I realized what that group in Mount Pleasant has represented for us is to help prepare members for things like community self-defense, home self-defense, even hand-to-hand self-defense, civic engagement, communications, intel. I mean, if I missed one, I'm sorry. But the different divisions that we as a community need to be involved in, if we're going to have an impact on our community, just standing up saying, hey, we're ready to, challenge you and fight you if you're trying to do that, that's one thing. But our whole country is shifting and going in directions that are scary to a lot of us. And we can't dismiss that. So what I think the Watchman is growing into, which is awesome in my opinion, we're creating communities of people who can not only defend themselves, so they won't be bullied around. The stuff that happened last summer, these communities that were getting bullied, Watchman communities are not going to be bullied. You're going to have people who are ready, organized, and prepared to defend their communities and their homes if they need to, which is really neat. The other part is we're developing communities of people who are going to be involved in going to school board meetings. They're going to be involved in charity work, reaching out to people who have been service or responders within our communities that help take care of us. We're going to try to start helping take better care of them by doing fundraisers and providing things for them, whether it simply be meals. And that's a big deal. So we're creating a culture. We're creating that in communities. And that to me is the answer to the question I had when this thing first started. What do I do? How do I get involved and help this situation, because it's going south so fast? There's so many concerns. I think what is in place right now, and I'm going to give a recognition here to Brian in our state, because he took the time to use our old structure and take how he was doing things in his community, in his group. He merged those things together, and kind of that's what we have as a structure now. I put in place the idea of using terms like state coordinators. These guys, their role is to help be a guide for each city group. They can give you information and even lend their skill set to help your city group develop where they need to develop. That way it's not all on one person. So each group, I'm trying to help describe some of this structure too, because this has been a difficult topic for lots of people. We've even had people jump ship because of it, because they didn't take time long enough to listen to what it is. If all you do is self-defense in your group, and then there's somebody joins your group that wants to get involved in charity work or wants to get involved in politics, that sort of thing, well, how are they going to get involved in it? But you're basically going to have to say, no, well, we don't do that with this group. You're going to have to go find somebody else. And then they're thrown out the door. So your coordinators in the state, this is why they're in place. They can help you train a person that'll be within your city group that knows how to do that kind of thing. So any other members who join, they can help develop those people. All it is providing that well-rounded community group that we actually, I think, all were looking for at the beginning. But it's developed into something that's going to be way more impactful. The other part was we had some discussion over what you could call rapid response, or a county-wide Minuteman type group. And after the discussion last night, and I'll say this up front, I don't believe there should be anything at all within the formal Watchman group that is secret, that people don't know about. It trumps and messes up the idea of accountability and transparency. I'm not going to allow that to be part of the formal group. That's just simply how that is. And, if a person don't like that, I can't help you there. We're not going to have something that's different, that other people don't know what's going on with it or anything like that. We all have the same mission here. We want to be able to train regular people to protect themselves, to get involved in their communities in a way that's going to matter, and even help support those two groups by different things like communications or intel. That helps support those two things. So if there's a group that, say, stand out as a basic organization group or community group like Minutemen, something to that nature, they can either help with training other groups, or they can also be a group that could be called on if say somebody over in this county or that city doesn't have enough people to go engage in something that could be something about physical harm. Well, that group could be called on for that, to come support, the next group over. So, but there's not going to be anything secret. There's not going to be anything that says, hey, we got some missions over here we're going to go take care of that's different than the rest of you guys are doing. It's not going to be like that. And leadership-wise, it's set up now to where people can understand who does what. We have state coordinators. I already said what they do. They help guide, they help support. They're not your boss. They're not trying to take your group over. They're trying to help build your group for you so you don't have to spend all your time trying to figure out how to do stuff maybe you're not experienced in. It's a support network. We have a state director, Brian. He will be implementing and helping to make sure people are implementing, or at least making available, the things they need to develop. Then we have county director, like Michael is your Cabarrus County director. He's helping make sure each city can implement and get support where they need it to grow into a community of people who can help establish a culture. What kind of culture is it we're trying to establish here? One that is fair, one that's safe and just for all people. we're all sick of hearing this crap of, hey, you guys come on in, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome, and you're welcome. But hey, you guys that are traditional or patriotic or anything like that, or even white for that matter, that is conservative, you guys aren't necessarily welcome. We're not going to give you the same welcome we give other people. We're going to go out of our way to let everybody else get what it is they're looking for, and we're going to shun this group. We're not going to stand for that. We're going to create a culture that cares for and gives opportunity for all people of all color and backgrounds. If they start going outside of those boundaries that start stepping on other people's toes or undermine or marginalize other groups, we're going to put our voice out there and you're going to hear about it. The other part is, we're not going to put up with, in our communities where watchmen are, we're not going to watch our communities burn down. We're not going to watch people get pissed and then go stomp their feet everywhere and tear innocent people's stuff up. That's not going to, well, I'm not going to say it ain't going to happen, but what I'm going to say is there'll be a challenge toward it. We're going to be a strong community of people, a strong culture of people. And I hope that some of you guys who have heard the wrong things about this group, accusations about this group, listen to this video, take your time and watch it. I hit on something at the beginning that may have thrown some of you off, but communication is a big deal. It has to be tended to. I'm kind of frustrated with going over it and going over it and going over it. So that's why I put that in there at the beginning. But the other part is for you to understand the structure, the leadership. Leadership, my idea of leadership, it has to do with people helping guide each other and support each other, not being anybody's boss man. We've had people leave our group because they didn't want certain people in leadership spots. Well, just think about this. If you happen to be a firearms trainer, how are you helping somebody that wants to get involved in civic engagement? You can't necessarily. Are you a person who coordinates or organizes that kind of thing? If you're not, somebody else who is able to coordinate and organize needs to be in a role that establishes that in your area. That way it gets done and nobody's left out. It's not about power and status. And anytime I see it, I hope you guys are starting to recognize this about me. When I see people trying to consistently be top dog, be status junkie, I tend to push away from that, because that's not what this group is. We're a community of people who are supporting and serving each other. If we miss that, we've missed the mark. You end up turning into the very culture that we're trying to get rid of. I'm sick of seeing the mouthy one, the loud one, get all the attention, get all the status. We've had tons of people in this group work very hard at the beginning. I know lots of people ended up referring to just a couple of us at the beginning. So many people were going around from city to city, helping support each other in these meetings to get groups of people together so we could protect each other. I mean, people put time and effort into it and still are. And I try not to mention everybody's name. Some people don't like to be mentioned. But, I did make that snapshot. You can look at it on our website just to get an idea of how it started and some of the people involved and how that went. So that's the point of this video, to reach out to you guys. I know it's long. It was meant to be long. It's frustrating to know, how much misconceptions out there, because we haven't had time to go around to everybody and fully give everything in full detail. But it takes time to work on those things. It takes time to put stuff in place to where there's no confusion. And that's why it was completely laid out like it was laid out. So we know who is doing what their role is. And I'm reiterating again, that doesn't mean they're your boss man. You can have a chain of command within your group that has something to do with if you got some kind of serious mission going on or there's physical threat, and you follow that. And that chain of command also helps manage and keep a check on how things are happening within your groups. But they're not boss men. And people who think it is, Those are the ones that are having a serious issue right now, because that's what they want the whole thing to be. Think of Watchmen in terms of, in the context of community and culture. And we have divisions that are going to need certain chains of command, without a doubt. But as a whole, think about what we are. Get involved in that way that's going to help build, and it's going to help get this country back to, and I'm not going to say get back to, I'm going to say it's going to help develop this country into communities that care about each other and that support each other, and that make sure, all of us make sure that it's balanced. That way you don't have these special interest groups, especially on the left. Special interest always ends up stepping on somebody's toes, taking opportunity from others, giving this high recognition to some and just throwing the others to the side. We're not going to live in a country like that. We're going to develop it in a way that's balanced, that's fair. You guys have heard me use those terms since the beginning, but it's finally starting to make sense how that's going to happen. And very grateful for you guys who have stuck around, who have, the growing pains have been rough. And then there's been people who also said, well, there's no need for your group after elections. This group didn't start because of elections. This group started because there was people tearing up communities. It started as a safety network. Elections had nothing to do with why we started. Then people say, well, the violence will calm down if, so-and-so gets in. And then there'll be no need for your group. How do you think all that chaos got started anyway? Our culture, our country is in the dumps. I know some people are going, oh, well, we're progressing into the right way. I don't think so. If you got people pitching fits and getting their way, if you got certain groups, special interest groups, getting benefit and the others not, talk about inclusion. Man, there's been, again, half of us are being left out, basically shunned. And are we mad because we're not the center? No. We would like shared status, shared power, shared recognition. This I'm going to focus in on one. Crap ain't going to work. And in this county, from what I'm hearing, your school boards, your board meetings and stuff like that, they're going to start hearing from us. Left is not all that lives here. And I'll say it again as I end this video. And I hope I clarified a lot of things, but I'm going to say it. You guys keep this in mind. And it's not just we live here too. We're developing here too. This country is going to be balanced. We're not going to live in chaos. We're not going to live in an imbalanced society that doesn't help all of us, that doesn't protect all of us. And we're going to reach out and let those who have served in our communities and for our country, they're going to know that we care about them. That's what we're going to do. And again, thankful for you guys. I know it's a long video. It has to be. I can't go out. I wish I could and meet up with all of you guys and have face-to-face talks with you. So this is the only method I have right now of doing that. So at the very end here, you guys who have seen it, share this video with all of your members. So often I hear, well, I'll put a message out there and know, 10% of the people got it. That's why there's so much confusion, misconceptions going on. So anybody listening to this video right now, share this with your people. Let's rally around what counts. Springtime's coming up. We had a discussion last night. We're going to have a mass gathering, a cookout, where we can all get together and spend some time together, in a different kind of way. Looking forward to spring. Some of us ride bikes. We're going to do that. But we're involved in a way that matters, that counts. This isn't riding on the shirt tails of people anymore. This is us doing our part. So appreciate all y'all and talk to you soon.